I don't care what side is reporting it. I don't care what side is putting their opinion on. I am a big, even before this, I'm a big supporter of do your own research. At the end of the day, Charlie was a Christian man that fought for Christian values. He was outspoken about the conservative movement, and I believe that he was stepping forward at a time in our country that to him it was like do or die. Like I gotta come forward right now, because with all this stuff that was going on at that particular time, especially leading into the last election, he just believed that it could be. What is up, YouTube family? We are back with episode number 23 of our High on Jesus podcast. And today, you probably heard a lot about it, but we decided that we are going to share some thoughts on the Charlie Kirk incident and tragedy that happened, and just the current situation where we're at now with it. So we're just going to jump right into it this time. We're just going to skip some of this other stuff. And so we hope you get a lot out of this. I think this was kind of brought on, you know, I think there's a number of people in the recovery community that maybe they're not really into the whole political scene, don't really know a whole lot about it. Some people are even like, hey, what is, you know, this stuff going on? All I'm doing is hearing about it. So I thought maybe we could bring a little clarity to some of these situations. And we want to make sure that everyone knows we're coming from this, as we want everyone to be able to watch this. So we're gonna talk about facts. You know, even though that we all have different belief standpoints, you know, I believe that we can still come together if all parties are willing in some way, shape, or form. So let's get into this. I mean, this was pretty emotional, I think, for a lot of people. Some people had huge reactions to this. You saw a lot of stuff going on. Let's just kind of lead, you know, how we got into it. So transparency from our side, we probably would have spoke about this sooner, but we actually we do this once every 2 weeks. Right. So we're recording 2 episodes, and ironically, we recorded on Tuesday, and then Wednesday the 10th is when all this happened. So what it was is, well, first, you know, we talked about 9/11 last time, but I almost feel bad for the timing of it, because I feel like 9/11 got overshadowed by all this. No one was even talking about that. So, you know, huge shout out. I hope everyone took the time to remember our first responders out there, you know, our members of the armed services that, you know, fought to keep the freedoms that we have here. You know, we never want to forget that tragedy, and God forbid something like that happen again. And all the people that are working overtime to prevent that, you know, we should all be honoring on a daily basis,
and remembering the families,
not just once a year. Absolutely, a tragedy. The people that lost their lives in that 9/11 incident. I think everyone remembers where they were on 9/11. I was doing a lot of drugs in that time frame, but I remember the morning, and it was on TV. You know, crazy. I don't think any of us will ever forget that. No. But you know, unfortunately, it was overshadowed by, you know, this Charlie Kirk incident. So you know, people had their different opinions about him, but man of God, I mean, he stepped up. He was just a pro at debating people. He had his beliefs, and you know, truly, I feel like, you know, again, I want to talk about, I think me and you, we both have our beliefs and convictions, right? And we're speaking for everyone today that have different beliefs and convictions to watch, to respectfully comment. And, you know, despite, I feel like may have been, I see all this stuff started popping up on the Charlie Kirk. So he gets shot. Everyone's freaking out, wondering what's going to happen. I think some people were hoping he was just going to go to the hospital and get patched up and come out of this. I think if you saw the replay that day, you probably already knew. I don't think he was coming out of that. And of course, he wound up dying later on that Wednesday. And then I feel like after that, chaos ensued.
Absolutely, it did.
It was chaos. So you had people that were supporters, followers, you know, longtime members, everything that he was doing, just irate, obviously, at what occurred. And then it seemed you had this other side that were like celebrating. He deserved it. glad
Get what you
he's
get.
gone. Yeah, like they and
Karma.
yeah, and they would take, like, I saw a lot of one-liners going around about him where they would take like one sentence that he said, and one happened to be even talking about like there's probably gonna have to be some people that get killed to keep our gun freedoms. You know what I'm saying? But never like unpacking before and after
story.
it. So just taking that one-liner and turning him into like some animal, and he was pretty strong. Like, I watched some of the debates, and when he had someone pinned, I mean, he would go in on him, you know. But he's doing that because he believes so wholeheartedly in what he was doing. He was. At the end of the day, Charlie was a Christian man that fought for Christian values. He was outspoken about the conservative movement, and I believe that he was stepping forward at a time in our country that to him it was like do or die. Like, I gotta come forward right now, because with all this stuff that was going on at that particular time, especially leading into the last election, he just believed that it could be the death of America if some of that continued on for the next 4 years afterwards. So with his beliefs and convictions, he was inspired to go out there and to just make a difference, maybe bring some enlightenment to some people.
Yes.
You know, so obviously, if you don't agree, like with some of that was just said, you're probably going to be pitted against him in some way, shape, or form. But the first thing I want to bring up, and I don't care what it is, because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. I don't care what side is reporting it. I don't care what side is putting their opinion on. I am a big, even before this, I'm a big supporter of do your own research. Whether it's a message, you know, how many years have everyone heard me say that? Don't even take what I'm saying for it. Like, you know, like, go back. We did a few, you know, verses out of that chapter. Go back and read the whole chapter later on tonight to make sure that you know, preaching it the way that it should be preached. You hear anything, go back and read, you know, the whole chapter to make sure the pastor's coming true to what the word is saying. When you hear stuff online, you see things, go and do your own research.
Yes.
To make sure that someone's not trying to sway you with information that's incorrect, right?
Or even when I would come to you with an issue or my side of something, you'd be like, I hear you, but I need to have a little bit more in-depth conversation with the other party. Or you always wanted to gather the most information possible to make the best decision on no matter what the subject is. You know, that was, you know, and it can be frustrating for the person wanting some answers because you want them to be on your side. But you probably are one of the first people in my life that actually want to hear both sides to make the best suggestion for the best outcome for me.
That's good.
Yeah,
no, I appreciate you bringing that up.
It's
because
frustrating, but
I had to learn that the hard way, obviously.
So.
But no, you're right. At this point in my life, that is what I do. I never have an emotional reaction to it. Want to know something else that pertains to what you say that applies to this? When someone comes up to me and they tell me something, oh, so and so they did this, and this, and it could be something crazy. Maybe that even hurt that particular person. I sympathize with them at that moment, but I don't let my opinion of that person change. I don't just get pitted against them just because somebody told me something about it. I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to see if this is true. I'm going to talk to some other people about it. Do I maybe have to talk to that person and, you know, confront them a little bit on it, whatever it is. But yeah, I definitely don't let just what the one person says be like the hard truth about everything, and then I let my emotions come into it, and that affects my decisions from there on out.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's definitely an important way to approach any situation. I truly believe. And what's funny about, I think another reason that I protect, especially the one-liner so much, or let's just say Michael Jordan, right? If you didn't know who Michael Jordan was, I could go make, in the video editing room, a highlight reel of all his misses, of all his mistakes, of all his, you know, picked off passes, or when someone stole the ball from him, or whatever it is, and I could show you the highlight reel, and I could try to convince you that Michael Jordan's one of the worst players in the NBA, right?
True.
People they do that to us, because you see with our comments or whatever, you know, Chris is chopping up, our video guy's chopping up these little shorts, and he only has time to throw the one line in there, and then someone just hears that one line and starts getting chippy with us about it when they don't know that's not even really the point that I was trying to make, because you didn't hear what I was saying before and after it. And if you heard the whole thing, it made more sense.
Right. Well, without that, though, we wouldn't have our bad comments, I guess.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, I saw that a lot. And what was funny, so, you know, again, I'll just be real. I've actually followed Charlie Kirk for a long period of time now. I've actually listened to a number of those debates, and some of them are absolutely amazing. I gotta be,
my kids
be real with that.
Have listened to him, so it affected us hardcore. You know, we were at HOJ when we found out last week, or 2 weeks ago now, or I guess now it'll be a month ago when this airs. But the kids were like, "Mom, we used to listen to him," and I don't know. I just feel like he brought a lot of families back together just with his words and being willing to have that conversation.
Yeah, so you guys were upset by it then when it happened.
Very much so. I mean, I can't share what was said in it, but you know, we have our men's and women's groups at our High on Jesus meeting, and a lot of the women were really affected by it, including myself. It just, I don't know. He just gave a lot to America, and it definitely hurt.
Yeah. Well, I know many people that had a similar reaction. I was more in disbelief. I guess maybe, you know, I'm going to try to be honest in everything that I say. I wasn't exactly like falling off the chair shocked in this day and age. To be real, if something happened to our current president, I wouldn't, you know, fall over shocked. I mean,
twice, right?
that's what I'm saying. It's just like, in the culture that we live in right now and everything that's going on, unfortunately, when you stand up for something, it gets, you know, it gets attention. And we also got to be real. There was some incidents that happened on the other side of people that were getting shot and gone after by extremists. I think it's like you have the people with the extremists on either side is probably where some of that is coming from. You know, we'll get more into that a little bit later. But, you know, for me, I remember that night, while I wasn't shocked, I was definitely saddened. And then when I went onto Facebook, because I was like, I got to see what's going on. So it's after High on Jesus, everyone had a chance to start throwing stuff out there. So by the time I can do anything, it's like 9:45, 10, and I pull it out, and I'm just in like
shock and all, like disbelief.
I couldn't believe it. And so first of all, where what we just talked about came into play, I saw some of when they were throwing up the one quote, and I had watched some of those videos, and I already knew that's not what he was saying. That's not what he was talking about, or he didn't intend it to be as you just clipped that one sentence out. He wasn't speaking like that or hateful that you made it seem.
And you resonated with that because you felt that.
Of course, because it happens to me. And then when I went on, I mean, I won't go into detail, but some of our extended family were getting online saying a bunch of nonsense. I mean, people like that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I'm like, there is no way that this is going on right now. Like, I think the craziest thing to me was that I had a huge problem with people that were going on saying he got what he deserved, I'm glad it happened to him, and all that. The people that were celebrating the death of this man with a wife and 2 kids, that to me just, I was mind boggled by that, man.
For freedom of speech.
I was absolutely mind boggled by that. One thing that really hit me about it was, you know, we have our beliefs and convictions, and even with some of the stuff that probably didn't agree with over the past, 4 years or whatever it was, man, people that I thought maybe could have been doing something to harm our country and would have me upset about certain decisions that were being made. I never wished death on them.
No.
I never wished like someone grabbed a gun and killed them, and nor would I like celebrate, oh, they got what they deserved at the I mean, these people still have families. I think, certain people are lost, and I hope they find a different way, but still, like, you can't wish death on people.
No.
That was the craziest thing for me, man. I was just mind boggled by that.
Yeah. No, saying hurtful things isn't okay by any means, no matter who you are. But expressing your disagreement respectfully, that should be always allowed.
For sure.
you mentioned, pick one. Either everyone gets to speak freely within reason, or cancel anyone who crosses the line. Like, no, I heard it on a media platform, no selective enforcement. Charlie Kirk was always willing to just have the conversation. That's what, when my kids and I would listen to, different venues that he would go to, and he's like, God, he really listens to these kids. This was mostly Chloe and Beckett that would listen to him. And they were like, he clearly knows that they're wrong, but he's like, he's so willing to listen. And he's like, my kids were like, so many adults are not willing to have that conversation. And I don't know, I think it affected me more because my kids participated in listening to what Charlie Kirk had to say. It just, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some more Charlie Kirk tries up from this. I really do. That he's planted seeds in so many young people that it'll carry on. I think it was online in the last couple of days that there was 62,000 new Turning Point USA to be established. There was like 18,000 within the first 48 hours after his death. I mean, there's going to be some big campuses, around the U.S. to carry out this message.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't say it enough of just, we got to be able to come to the point where we can, if you disagree about something, that's fine. Mm-hmm. There's probably some people at the end of the day, we can have a conversation, which is, good, but truth be told, I'm not going to convince them anything. They're definitely not going to convince me of anything. And so we're just going to have to agree to disagree and call it a day.
That's when you go,
now,
yep.
I mean, when you see extreme cases in that, I mean, are there some people that you kind of just disconnect with? I mean, I hope that the person can still be amicable. Maybe you could just agree to disagree and just probably not bring it up again.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to end in a fight every single time. But my hope is from this that people can realize maybe some of the error of their ways, that like no one on either side should be wished death upon. No one should be going and celebrating that. And I mean, just the stuff that I saw online was so out of pocket. I was up in my feelings for that. And for probably like the first week, that was what the craziest thing to me was. And then when you go on some of this, I don't know where your algorithms lead you and what social media platforms you're on. You ever heard of Threads?
Yes.
Yeah, so Threads is another one. When you go on some of this stuff, I am like,
it's like a rabbit hole.
Sometimes like, I'm not gonna lie, I almost go in like a spy almost. I'm like, I gotta venture into the enemy camp to see what people are saying, and the stuff that people say about God, about the right side, if they're on the left side of things, I never seen nothing like it in my entire life. Crazy stuff out there. And so there is a point I'm like, all right, no more looking at this stuff. Like, this is
like, no more curiosity.
How can they even, like, it's crazy out there, man.
But do you think they feel the same way about us? Like, do you think that
I've seen plenty of stuff where the other side goes in on the left. I'm not gonna lie, man, I just see way more crazy out of pocket stuff coming on when I go onto there. Like, just I can't even talk about it. It's so crazy.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's just so insane. So I'm gonna condemn anyone out there that celebrates the death of somebody. Man, that's not it. That's not
okay.
what we're trying to do
Definitely
here.
Not.
So what I do believe in, though, is not having a double standard. So after that occurred, then I think we got into a lot of stuff that's been happening after that there's this double standard out there. And so let's just talk about what I mean by that, because a lot of these principles we believed in, or we've talked about, preached on before any of this happened.
Right.
So as far as the double standard pertains, I've talked about this a number of times, is don't hold someone else to a different standard than you would hold yourself.
Yes.
don't hold someone else to the fire about this, that, and the other when you're not holding yourself to the fire about things in your life that you're doing or need improvement or whatever it is. Because I think that's like the easiest thing for any of us to fall into, as you did one thing and I'm going to hold you accountable to that for life, but I do 5 things and no one knows about it, so I'm just going to give myself a pass. And you know, that's not, if anything, to be real with you, at this point in my life, I hold myself to a higher standard than I hold everybody else to. Because I expect that I need to do more, produce more, be better, you know,
I do the same.
Follow the Lord, whatever it is. I hold myself to a much higher standard than I hold other people to. But that's another thing that I just noticed so much about going on lately. This double standard thing is crazy, man.
It definitely.
Like, so something that we encounter when we see it in meetings is like, someone else is in a meeting, they're sharing about their higher power is the doorknob, or their higher power is the group, right? And some of it is, I think, you know, a little silly or, you know, whatever, but at the same time, like, if it works for them,
if it keeps them clean,
you know, okay, I'm definitely not gonna like make my next share about how they're wrong or whatever it is. I just keep it to myself and keep it rolling. I mean, but then I say something about Jesus and, you know, something that God did in my life, and the next person raising their hand, oh, we don't talk about that here.
Yeah.
We don't.
Because you named it.
Yeah. We don't talk specifics. Or I've had people pull me out outside the meetings. You can't be talking about that. You can't be saying that. Like, why can't I say what my experience, strength, and hope was? I didn't tell you. That's what I was sharing, what God did in my life. And how is that any different? I mean, I could be saying, so when in the steps, if we're following and you're supposed to ask God what his will is for your life, do you call the group, if that's your higher power, and ask them what their will is for you? Like, you know, I could pick their side apart, but I don't, out of respect to them. I just share my side. I just share what, you know, my real experience is, in hopes that maybe they'll get something from it and it'll impact them. So
absolutely.
I notice there's a double standard sometimes in the recovery rooms.
It is. And
also,
you know, and when you hold people to one standard and then hold others to another, it just creates more division. Anyway, but this right here is exactly why I love High on Jesus, because we can share whatever is going on in our lives. We get to talk about Jesus and our recovery in the same room, among women or among men. I feel like we're able to share openly. We can speak our truths and be honest about our struggles without fear or judgment. It's a space where faith and recovery and family, because I get to bring my kids there as well. So that's why you know, we call it home groups, but, you know, High on Jesus is my home. It's my family. And I do go to other meetings. I go to AA. I feel that I'm able to share about God being my higher power more so in the rooms of AA. And throughout the last 2 years, I've just kind of had to go to these different meetings and figure out which ones I can share and feel confident that I won't get criticized or alienated inside those rooms. It's just like, you know, kind of trying on shoes. You know, you see which one fits to the best. Yeah. But when you don't feel like you're a part, it can definitely damage you, you know, and can hurt your recovery in some ways, for sure. Yeah.
And, you know, I have friends that vote on the other side that I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but there are people that I can have conversations with, and I think even them would agree. And that's why I believe this part is for everybody. The double standard, isn't it? Either no one can do it or everyone's able to, right? We can't just have a certain side having a certain standard and it not being held to everyone. So that kind of leads in.
Hey, y'all, you've heard us talk about our nonprofit, Hand Up to Victory. I am here to tell you that it changed my life. I don't know where I would be without it. So below is a link to handuptovictory.org. Please click on that link and go to the donations tab. You may save a life, change a life. And I am living proof. We have our gala coming up in November. We would love it if you could be a business sponsor. If your in-kind donation could be raffled off to also change a life or save a life. So handuptovictory.org. Please donate if you can.
I'm sure you've heard about this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing.
Yes.
So Jimmy Kimmel comes on. He basically states that MAGA is trying to paint this kid that murdered Charlie Kirk as a liberal and use it to gain political points, is what he was saying about it. And but he was actually MAGA, is what Jimmy Kimmel was reporting. He was actually on the Republican side, but he shot Charlie Kirk, which I don't know how that sentence makes any sense, anyways. And then he went on then he went on to, of course, roast Trump after that and show these clips of when he was asked about Charlie Kirk. He mentioned that they're building this ballroom. I actually watched some of this stuff. So basically, he's saying he don't care about this guy at all. He's talking about the ballroom and not how much it affected him. This is all a scam. The Republicans are trying to use this for whatever they want to. So, I don't know. I have my own opinions on him, obviously. Let's just say that Jimmy Kimmel is not played in my house. I can rest assure you that, because me and Jaden would be staying up. So actually, when I saw any of this, like even years ago, because I didn't even realize this, at one point I thought he was kind of funny. Basically, the playoff games are super late, because when you watch the West Coast games, it's like 9 p.m. and it goes into 11 midnight. So anyway, Jaden leaves, and I'm doing whatever on my phone, and it just rolls into the next show, which is him. Bro, he gets on there and starts taking off about God. He talks smack about God. He talks smack about Trump. He's every single show. And I'm like, oh no, turning that off. And I made sure Jaden, we're not watching that. Right now, at the same time, I got to be honest, I believe that he still has the right and the ability to go on there.
Right.
Truth be told, if you don't want to see it, just do what I did and never watch it ever again in your entire life.
Yeah.
So what happens after that is Disney. So Disney owns ABC. And so when this started like a whole wave, they didn't know what they were going to do. I actually read up on it because I wanted to know more details behind the scenes. They were actually sitting down with them and saying, you need to go back out and apologize for this. The next night, he said, under no way, shape, and form am I going to apologize for this. I'm going to go in on it even more. And so that's when they were like, all right. People were saying that they canceled him, but they actually suspended him. You're suspended indefinitely was what the quote was. So they yank him off the air the next night, and then oh boy, it caused another eruption on social media, and everyone's talking about, oh, it's a freedom of speech violation. Like the government, Trump was the one that appointed this guy that's head of the FCC. They're the ones that decided to pull him off there, and I don't even think they knew the behind the scenes. So it's interesting. There's Disney as the parent company over ABC. They have that broadcasting that they put out generally to the whole U.S. Well, there's other companies that own certain sections and territories of putting that ABC out there. So 2 of them have already come forward and said, I don't care if you put him on again or not. We're not showing that to any of our people unless he goes and apologizes, makes a donation to Turning Point, whatever it was out there. And so there was this huge thing that it was being used by, the other side to saying this is a freedom of speech violation, clearly, and it's the government getting involved in censoring people, canceling people because he's a fascist, is this, is that, and all this stuff. That to me, it was just comedy in and of itself. So let's just pause right there because I want to make sure people know. Do I think that he should have been taken off the air? To be honest with you, I'm gonna go ahead and say no, but I'm gonna say yes. Why? Because of what happened a few years earlier, and I think people forget this stuff already. Tucker Carlson. You know who that is?
Yes.
He was a huge guy that was very outspoken on the conservative side. He was on Fox News. He had his own show, and so he had said some things that people were looked at as if we won't go into the whole story, but basically he was asked to leave Fox News in a sense for doing the same exact thing that Jimmy did, just on the other side, basically putting his own personal opinions in on what he was saying, which is exactly what Jimmy does too. So he got canceled in a sense. I read up on that. They actually made a mutual agreement to leave, but he's done. He was one of the most profitable shows on Fox News, and they basically asked him to leave. So it happened on that side too. Trump, if you remember in 2021, he actually got suspended off of all social media platforms, and there was people in charge that were saying he absolutely should be taken off there. So you can't say that, oh, now he's doing that, because it was done before. Previously, they were saying, and he got banned off of all the social media platforms, right? And so now all of a sudden it's a problem
because it's the other.
Yeah, so it goes back to the double standard thing. So now it's an issue because it happened to your side, but if it happens to the other side, people are going to celebrate it and said that they deserved it and all that stuff, right? So to me, it's make the standard the same. So yeah, because that happened to them, then I'm going to say, yeah, Jimmy should have got taken off there for what he said. So to me, I oppose the double standard, the anti-double standard, no matter what it is. Either we're going to take people off certain things if they cross the line, or either make it open season and anyone can put their opinion out and say whatever they want to, and just leave them on it. And I also know. Oh, so
I mean, you got.
Good. Yes.
You got taken off Facebook, right?
Right.
Like, okay,
so I want to talk about that, and this is why it's comedy to me, and I saw a lot of good insight on this also.
Because you were just like,
people are saying it's suddenly a freedom of speech issue. No, it's not. It's not a freedom of speech issue, because it was freedom of speech, and there's people even in this room right now that know more about it than I do. That would mean you would say something and you would be arrested for that. That would mean they would come in and take you away or whatever for something that you said. So I believe freedom of speech can still happen. Because why? Because Tucker Carlson, even when he left Fox News, he started his own thing. Now he does a show on Twitter. He has his own he has his own media platform. So he can say whatever he wants on any of those. It's not a freedom of speech issue. But what I heard that was absolutely great was we have the freedom to say whatever we want, right? But that doesn't mean our employer or people that run media outlets or social media platforms are going to let you say or show or do whatever you want to. There's a big difference. You have the freedom of speech. Let's just use something raunchy. You can watch whatever videos you want at your own house, but you can't show them in a movie theater. Right. You know what I'm saying? If it's really that bad, you can't show that on a social media platform. So don't go crying. It's freedom of speech. You could say whatever you want to at the end of the day, but that don't mean whoever's in charge of employing your show is going to be okay with that and let you continue on.
Yeah.
And just like you said, I got banned off of Facebook, so we got shut down because I said the word heroin.
And it was taken out of context because...
In a comment, exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to say it was a good friend of mine talking about like drinking, and people think it's a big deal to have a few drinks or whatever it is. And I said, if you can handle it, go do whatever you want. But I know if it was me drinking, I'd probably be in a few days. I'd be calling you for borrow $20 to do some heroin or something.
And then the next
probably the wrong choice of words there.
Bag.
I should have abbreviated or used another slang word. But all of a sudden I get this notice that first it said not only am I not allowed to do lives and not allowed to do certain functions on Facebook, which that took away our ability to put the messages out. Freedom of speech. I could say whatever I want in the message, but no, now when Facebook deemed it, they shut me down for a full 30 days. And I challenged it. And said, hey, you guys took it out of context, and I explained myself why. I'm in recovery. I'm just sharing my personal opinion. Denied. And then they added on top of that even more stuff. I guess I was already triggering certain things, probably from just what we talk about in recovery and using those drug words. They said, in fact, you've had prior violations, and if you have one more violation, your account can be banned permanently. For saying...
For being anti, like for being,
and I'm not even supporting it. So, my freedom of speech. No, it's not freedom of speech. Facebook owns the platform. I can say whatever I want, but they have the right to take me off of it. So you can't say it's a violation suddenly when it's not in your favor.
The good news is you're back.
Yes, and good. Now I will use code words. I'll say, you know what, I'll say abbreviation. I mean, honestly, but now I'm picking up, and even like I see like when they were talking about Charlie Kirk like die or whatever, they put like D*ED or whatever. Like people are even breaking up. They must break up little keywords that they know could be triggered by the algorithm with a little asterisk or a dash or something. I notice that a lot more now that I'm paying attention to it.
Yeah, right.
Right. So
I mean,
yeah, we gotta stand by that. So interesting enough, we're recording this a little early, obviously, but as we're recording tonight, actually, I believe Jimmy Kimmel is allowed to come back on. So he got restored back. Disney had their things; they were getting rioted on. Disney was, and what was funny, some people think Disney is on the left side, but then the left was rioting against them. It's just a crazy world right now, man.
Is he supposed to apologize, or he's just going back as Jimmy Kimmel?
I'm pretty sure he can just continue to say whatever he wants to. Because, I mean, literally every show, I don't know if it opens with him rocking God, apparently, Trump. Like, I mean, that's why he opens every single show. He takes up on Trump.
Plenty of people watching tonight for the...
So to me, it's not a freedom of speech issue. Just don't watch it. Like I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't watch Fox News or they don't watch something that's not, putting information out that they want to hear or whatever it is. But certain shows out there,
right?
Just don't watch them.
Yeah, I mean, from listening today and like just from the assassination death of Charlie Kirk, like it just keeps going back to consistency for me, fairness, and then just clarity, that both sides have to do the same thing. We all have to follow the same rules, the same constitution, the same everything. Whether it's the cancel culture, free speech, or how we talk about faith in meetings, I feel the rules should be the same for everyone. And that's how you continue to build trust and then unity, here in whatever we do, I'm
gonna add one more thing, and then we'll talk about some good stuff, how we could heal, how we can move on from this type of thing. But I just wish, honestly, my hope and prayer is that I wish that we could all, come together. I even got kind of condemned by that from people on the same side as me, like, oh, we're way past that. It's time for war. It's time for action and all that. And to be real, some of the stuff I've seen, I think people want a civil war.
I do too.
Like, that's what it really, really seems like. And I just hope that everyone remembers, first of all, I wore this hat for a reason today, man. If you want me to get emotional about something, I love this country. I believe America is great because it's been based on God. It's been based on principles. We were all about, helping other people until that got taken down a road that it shouldn't have either. But basically, America was all about for standing up for what was right, man. And I believe that people are forgetting our motto, united we stand, divided we fall. And I believe that there's plenty of other countries that are hunting us, and they're laughing at this every single day, and they love that we're all divided. They love that it's 50% of the country hates the other 50% of the country. They probably want a civil war. They want all that. Why? So they can come and have their way with us. Amen. And so I just hope that people realize that. And the hardest part is as much as I want people to come together and have conversations, I think there's just some parts of the population that we can't do that. Yeah, I got to be honest on it. I mean, there's a verse, don't argue with fools in Proverbs. I'm not calling the other side that doesn't believe what I'm saying fools, but they could use the same verse on me or whatever. But there's just some places that I don't think there is going to be a together because there's just such an extreme belief or side or whatever that they won't even have a conversation about it. But I also believe there's probably like 80% of the country that will have a conversation about things that maybe we can find a way to peacefully disagree, right? That we can, hopefully continue to stand up for what is right, that we don't believe just what one side is feeding us, because I believe a lot of people are being led astray by some of this media stuff that's going on. So my prayer is for them that they do their own research and they see the truth in some of this stuff. But I don't know, man. At the end of the day, we can't be celebrating other people's deaths and gloating in this stuff and, you know, preying on people's downfall. I was in Proverbs 24 and verse 17 this morning says, "Do not gloat when your enemy falls. When they stumble, do not let your heart rejoice." And I believe that played directly into what we're talking about today. We shouldn't take happiness and gloat in other people's downfall, even if they don't agree with you. On both sides, right?
Absolutely.
You put some good stuff there.
Yes. I was going back to our devotional from today too.
You want to read that?
Yeah. So our devotional today was about revenge. And the verse it gives is out of Romans 12:19. "Friends, do not avenge yourselves. Instead, leave room for his wrath. For it is written, 'Vengeance belongs to me. I will repay,' says the Lord." It says one of the hardest areas in which to trust God is the matter of justice. When we perceive an injustice, we want to see the guilty party punished. We want justice to prevail, especially when we are the victim. We become impatient if we are not avenged quickly. Yet God warns us that vengeance is not our prerogative. We are to desire justice, but we are not to seek vengeance. And that's in Micah 6:8. When someone offends us, our responsibility is to respond to the offense with forgiveness. Out of Matthew 5:44, which reminds me of Erica Kirk and her ability to forgive this young boy that, murdered her husband.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah. I don't know if I could have done
after.
that. God takes the responsibility to see that justice is done. God loves people too much to allow sin to go unchecked. Peter claimed that God is not slow about his promises to us, but he is patient and long-suffering before he brings about judgment. 2 Peter 3:9. Yet ultimately, God has prepared for absolute justice. There will be no sin committed that he will leave unpunished. Either the punishment will fall on his son or it will be charged against the sinner. But everyone will ultimately give an account for everything they have done. 2 Corinthians 5:10. God is absolutely just, and only he can ensure that justice is fully carried out. If we are impatient and seek revenge, we presume that we are wiser than God, and we reveal a blatant lack of trust that God will do the right thing. Only by trusting God's sovereign wisdom will we be free from our anger and preoccupation toward those who have committed evil. If we refuse to trust God's justice, we become enslaved to bitterness and anger. We must guard our hearts and trust God to exercise his judgment against those who oppose him.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be good today. Sometimes I look ahead and I see the title with the next one, and I was like, that's going to be, that's going to play, that's going to play right into this. And so, yeah, I mean, that just sums it up right there. Like, even us, I know a lot of people were upset, a lot of people were mad, but us getting revenge is not what this is all about. Is that God's going to right the scale, God's going to take revenge, God's going to, make everything right at the end of the day. And us trying to make that happen, especially out of our emotions, is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the person whose husband was killed can forgive and move on, no one else has a right to get all mad and want to take it into their own hands or whatever it is.
I just, and we heard someone mention earlier, that, her first speech was, kind of anchored in anger, and then just how it's
you don't even want to see some of the stuff that I seen people saying about that when she first came out. That's what I'm saying. Like, my goodness, man. People will spin anything that they want to spin in their direction. But yeah, of course she was angry. Her husband just got murdered. And what person wouldn't be?
The father to her children that she's never going to have there ever again.
Right. But just like you said, that was one speech, and then you have to go on a platform and speak out where you're being recorded, and there's plenty of times if I spoke in the middle of my feelings, and that's sitting there for all time's sake, it probably wouldn't be a good thing either. See, people don't think about that and that type of stuff. Oh, it's her. The same thing happened to you. You would
you
react
want it
twice as worse as you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what kills me, man. But the fact, just like you said, she's able to, let her emotions, her true emotional, mindset come out. But then 2 weeks later, she could forgive and move on from it. That's crazy.
It's healing for everyone that saw that. I feel like all those, they say 90,000 people that were there. I mean, I truly...
Millions of streams.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that act or that action was just healing for everyone that participated in whatever way that they did, even the replays of that.
Yeah. And this was at the Charlie Kirk service that they had,
on
memorial
Sunday.
service. And stuff.
Yeah. There were just a couple that resonated from videos that the kids and I watched. And one, he said at a Turning Point USA event in 2024, it says, victimhood is parasitic to your soul. You have to take responsibility. And just reflecting upon that, I believe that victimhood can be a trap that keeps us just stuck in the past and powerless. In my using, I blamed everybody else for everything that happened to me. While my struggles were real, they were valid, they happened, but choosing to see myself as a victim every time just kept me stuck in that. My true growth came when I acknowledged the challenges. I took responsibility for my actions, and then I had to just lean on my faith and just trust in God that I could change and that I could grow and not be a victim anymore, but just use that past to have a better future and to learn from my mistakes. But that victim mentality.
Playing a victim is going to get you absolutely nowhere. And people had tragic stuff happen to them in their past. I mean, horrible stuff, right? But at the same time, if you play the victim, we're going to play the victim until the grave and never move forward, never move on from it and let that hinder us. And really, that's giving the person that did that to us even more power, because now they're affecting us year after year after year. And so, there's some things that we're blessed to learn in recovery that, to be real, some people in the normal world that don't have to go through that, they don't learn that lesson, from that experience. And so if you just play a victim and, oh, this and this happened to me, or this is life handed me and this is why I use and I drink or whatever it is, you're just going to play a victim all the way to the end. You got to step up, take responsibility, even if it's something that didn't, you had nothing to do with. It wasn't from any of your choices. Someone did something to you. The responsibility is, I'm going to step up and not let this continue to hinder me. And I'm going to get counseling. I'm going to get therapy. I'm going to work through this, have God, deliver me from it, whatever it is, and not let this affect me any longer.
Amen. Yeah. Absolutely. The second was, I love anchors. My grandmother was like a big anchor person. So anything that is ever spoken about faith being an anchor, it just kind of like tunnel visions me in on it. So at another conference this year, Charlie said, faith is the anchor. Without God at the center, the rest eventually collapses. My faith in Christ is the anchor that keeps my life and my family steady through all the storms, whether I created them or the ones that have affected me from the outside. But I can feel it, when I am not getting in my Bible every day, if I'm not going to the gym or whatever it is, everything becomes unsteady, and I can feel it, but sometimes I just stay in that chaos because I guess I'm just human. But when that happens, my relationships get strained. My ability to have discernment and make better decisions isn't clear. And my peace that I can even find in troubled waters seems to disappear as well. But when I can just stay grounded in His Word, I carry His Word past Sundays, my family thrives. My heart is just so full of joy no matter where I'm at and what's going on. And my life and my purpose are just defined, and my direction, is just clear in those moments. And I don't know. It all just goes back to your faith and that trust that things will get better no matter what. Because I'm not in charge, thank goodness. But yeah, those are my favorites.
Absolutely. When the storms of life come, you got to have the anchor down, or your ship's going to get tossed every single which way. And God is the anchor, man.
Yes.
It's everything is better when I build around that, when I make that first place.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't, feel the effects of that.
Yep. And the people around you feel it
Absolutely.
as well. I can tell when I'm not centered.
Yep.
I can look at the other people in my house and tell when I'm not centered.
I can tell of a phone call like, oh, Austin is heated today, boy. She is on one.
You probably read it through the text.
But that's a good segue into some stuff we're going to talk about on the next episode. So we got Jonah coming up. We're going to speak a little bit about, we did a little video or a message series on Jonah. And
we would have 3, right?
But yeah, it's going to be number 4. Yep.
Tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow. So it's going to be good. We're just going to bring some points, chop it up about that story. There's plenty that we can all get out of it. Sometimes we got to talk about serious things. Pray that brought clarity to some people, that we help, that we serve, that we minister to. And pray that, pray it gets to someone and that, you get something out of that. Something resonates with you. Maybe there was something that you were just letting really bother you, and that help, bring it back into perspective for you.
Yeah, or if you have questions, comments, on your feelings and how this made you feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you agree or respectfully disagree with us, let us know about it.
Yeah.
So I want to take a minute here and give a huge shout out to our business sponsors, Automatic Bail Bonds. We bail your tail out of jail with a quickness. A big shout out to them for being a huge supporter of what we do here. If you, your loved one, anyone, we don't wish it on you, but if someone does go to jail, Autumn and her team, they actually care about the people that they help to bail out. So please use them. They're a huge asset in this community. Journey to Greatness Sober Living Homes, preparing you for your new journey of life and beyond. They have a multiple men's and women's homes in Manatee County. And so if you're looking for a sober living house, or maybe your loved one, someone that get in contact with them. All the links are below in our comments, guys. Also, Florida Elite Monitoring. They do ankle monitors and also alcohol level tracking with confidence. So maybe they're court-ordered to get an ankle monitor, or maybe they voluntarily want to be able to show the judge, hey, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing anything like that. They have all kinds of neat ways that they can help you out with some things. And then Dump Dynasty. You give them a call, they will pull up the trailer to your house. You can clean out your garage, remodel, whatever it is, fill that dumpster up, and then they take it away for you. No hassle on your end. So those are 4 different business sponsors and just businesses in the community that care and they want to make a difference.